Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show, Clownhead 5, a 12-team Dynasty Empire League that the three of us, Brad, Justin, I'm Ed, are all in this league. 25% of the league is us. This is our second league that we're all in together. So same settings as the Elite Eight. It's kind of where we got this from, but this is a standalone, and we're all building a little different. So interesting to hear how we each think of each other breaking down teams, but we're going to start from the one spot. Justin's going to break down that number one pick.
Yeah, team one, Kerwin drafted out of the number one slot and built his team to win now, trading away all his away his first and second round 23 picks to put this team together. Alan Stafford and Geno Smith round out his quarterback core. Top shelf skill players in CMC, Cup, Hill, Waller, Allen are the cornerstones of this team. And also the likes of Darren Waller, Tyler Higbee at tight end, along with Zach Ertz and Johnny Smith. So he's pretty deep and pretty well rounded to go to try to win this championship this year.
In the two spot, Kamish picked here, and this team won't win this year. It just doesn't have any quarterbacks to even compete. Baker, is a quarterback one, but then it drops off to Ritter and Pickett along with Corral. So unless all that works exactly perfect in week one and it doesn't get behind, it just doesn't have the horses to compete now. But all those guys could be quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks in the league. So the youth of the team is really at running back, though, as we compare and contrast. And, it's going to allow for a nice solid core of quarterbacks in the future with draft capital. Brees, James Cook, Zamir White, Snoop, Davis Price, along with a stable of additional rookie running backs, just went crazy on rookie running backs. And really, I just named a few of the guys. So anybody coming out of the woodwork and getting those starting jobs, they'll be on Team Kamish's team. So, really solid there. The receiver room also very young, very, fluid with T. Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Devonta Smith, David Bell. I mean, so just a few of what we have there in the running back room. I'm sorry, the receiver room, and very young. And then when you begin your team with Pitts and then backfill with Bellinger, likely Akinwande, I mean, there's some budding stars. I mean, they're all rookies. We know they're not going to, beyond Pitts, aren't going to, do well this year, or probably not going to do well this year. But in the future, they're all movement tight ends. So they're not going to be in line. They're going to be out and flexed out and be able to run, outside of the numbers. And so when you have tight ends that can do that and create separation, you have a pretty good situation when you're drafting tight ends. So I can tell what Kamish was doing here. And I really am interested to watch what he does and how he maneuvers to see, as I'm playing in this league as well, what I need to do to be competitive downstream or down the line. Hurricane Zion picked out of the 3 spot and picked Herbert, which is a great start for a number 3 pick overall, and then Mills as well in the quarterback room. But when you only have 2, there's going to be at least 2 weeks of zeros, in the quarterback room. So you start negative 40, or especially Herbert's week, you might start negative 50 that week of him being on bye, and that's without any injuries. Monty, Etienne, and Ramonde seem to all have kind of question marks regarding their starting role. Like, there's a path to somebody else getting meaningful carries in each of their backfields. And so there is a path that they all could be the bell cow, but there's also that path that they may not be. So, that would have me pause for some concern when all of your guys are in that same boat. Pittman, A.J. Brown, Hollywood Brown, and Brandon Ayuk feel real solid, really feel like that's the anchor of this team. Really excited to see those young guys. You can build around that wide receiver room for sure. Alberto and Everett are adequate, but I feel like they're middle of the road. Because again, there's somebody knocking on Alberto's door in Denver, and then there's somebody knocking on Everett's door in, for the Chargers as well. So, there's just other tight ends in those spots that could get meaningful touches as well. And so, they could find that they're coming off the field a percentage of snaps, even in tight end sets. So, they won't get all the tight end targets. So, it is a young enough team that, trades can be made, but it is something to monitor and see how things go for Hurricane Zion out of the 3 spot. Brad's going to look at the 4 spot.
Yep. 504 Clyde came out of the 4 spot, and it looks like he's probably going to have to make some decisions here soon regarding his team. He definitely started out well going with Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers as his 2 QBs. The only problem is he doesn't have anybody behind him. So he's going to have to make a decision here soon about that. Sorry. His running backs, he kind of stayed young went with Dobbins and Mitchell. And then also doesn't have much behind them either. So I can't tell yet which way he's leaning. His receivers, he went with CeeDee Lamb, Deebo Samuel, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Mike Williams, Kadarius Toney. So again, kind of like both ends of the spectrum, but more solid there. Obviously, his tight ends, he went with Njoku and Cameron Brate as his only 2 mainly. So I feel like he's probably going to have to go into rebuild mode here pretty soon. But it looks like he traded away his 23 first already. So it looks like he'll have some decisions to make in the near future here.
And Justin's going to break down Team 5.
Yeah, so Team 5 is W. Barrett, drafted out of the number 5 spot there. And I think he really built his team for win now. But and he was able to keep all of his rookie picks intact to do so. The quarterbacks, the likes of Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, and Mitch Trubisky. Running backs are Eckler, Connor, Singletary, Zach Moss, and Gus Edwards when it comes off of IR. Wide receivers and the likes of Chase, Diggs, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin, and Tyler Boyd as his 5th receiver. With all the rookie picks intact, should be able to really compete and be definitely, I think he's going to be in the playoffs this year.
And Brad can break down Team 6.
Yep. JDM actually had the 6th spot in this league. So he stayed with his youth picks, going with Burrow and Mac Jones to really anchor down his quarterbacks. And then he went with Winston as his 3rd to kind of fill in for bye weeks, which is solid. His running backs stayed young with Swift, Gibson, Damian Harris, even guys like Travis Homer, who will have probably fantasy value the first week or 2. His receivers, he went with Deontay, Rashad Bateman, Hunter Renfrow, DJ Chark, Terrace Marshall, who could all be sneaky plays this year, honestly. And then at tight end, he went with Fant and Cox. So at first look, it looks like he could be competitive or go into a rebuild. And then you realize that he's already got 3 first-round picks for next year with a couple 2nds and 3rds. So he's kind of in the driver's seat as to which way he's looking to go, because it could go either way right now.
And Justin's going to break down Team 7.
Excellent. So the real Brad Smith drafted out of the 7th spot, drafting 3 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Zach Wilson, Marcus Mariota. With Zach Wilson probably going to be out these 4 weeks, his number 2 quarterback will be Marcus Mariota for the meantime. With 2 of them having the same bye week, he's going to have to try to pick up another quarterback or just take that 0 that week during the week 10. With the running backs of Joe Mixon, Javonte Williams, and Kamara as his key running backs, all the rest of the running backs in Naheem Hines, Justin Jackson, Keyshawn Vaughn, and another sneaky guy, James Robinson, that could get a fairly decent workload this year. Wide receivers are fairly okay with DK Metcalf, Scary Terry, Christian Kirk, Parker, and rookies in Jahan Dotson and Jameis Williams. With all his future rookie picks intact, he should be looking to the future.
And Brad's coming in with Team 8.
Yep. Which was Fantasy Clown. So it's kind of fun to kind of do all three of our teams kind of in a row there. He kind of stayed with the same philosophy as JDM, going with young. He built around Lawrence and Jones, but also took a good amount of QBs on the flip side. So he definitely went all in QB again. He went with Jonathan Taylor, Barkley, Cam Akers, and Jacobs in this one. So he's definitely going real heavy at running back because he's also got Dameon Pierce, Kenneth Walker, Michael Carter on his bench. So I feel like people are going to be coming to him for backup quarterbacks and starting running backs here in the future. So he's kind of going to get to dictate how the market's going to be, I feel like, which is good because his receivers are kind of miserable. He's going with Rondale Moore, McCall Hardman, Zay Jones, and Paris Campbell. So he's obviously not looking to be very competitive right now, but I'm thinking with Hawkinson as his tight end 1, like he's got a lot to work with on his team.
And Justin's going to come in with Team 9.
Yeah, so Team 9 was a top flight hooker. Definitely a strong candidate for this year to make a push for the playoffs with Christian Kirk, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Running backs are fairly shallow with Cook, Zeke, and Hunt. And again, this player decided to go with second and third string running backs and Mark Ingram, Samaje Perine, Jamal Williams, to help booster that running back core there. The wide receivers in Adam Sutton, Amara St. Brown, Lazard, Palmer, and Robbie Anderson. That position there, wide receiver, seems to be his second strongest position. His first strongest position is at tight ends, with the 2 starters in Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. But not only that, he was able to grab Dalton Schultz as his third tight end. And there's 3 PPR scoring premium for the tight ends. That's definitely going to help him to score. And definitely will be a sneaky candidate, and definitely getting in the playoffs to see if he could push for that championship.
G.J.L. Reed had the 10 spot and started with a quarterback room of Dak and Carr, and it won't be enough with only 2. Now, Watson does return to this team at the tail end of the season, so after being a year away. So if they can, navigate through the first part and get some close wins, then they have a shot to really make noise in the playoffs with those 3 quarterbacks. Looking at, and the 6th seed gets you there in a league like this. So you don't have to win every game. You can take a couple losses. looking at the running backs, Chubb, A.J. Dillon, and Khalil Herbert feels a little bit light to me with those three guys and counting on them unless the right things happen. Aaron Jones injury, Hunt gets hurt, Montgomery loses his job. I mean, like, it's got to be a couple of those things in order to really do well with this kind of a team build. And then Gabe Davis, MVS, Drake London, Russell Gage, and Hamler feels a little bit light there too at the receiver room. So, need a couple things to happen. Gabe Davis to be just a crazy, performer. And if you guys come back on Wednesday, just a little shout out to some Gabe Davis love coming up on Wednesday's show. But you really want to hit these things as they're ascending type players. Kittle, Knox at the tight end spot, really create some strong 1-2 punch. But again, you've got bye weeks, and you can always put that third tight end in the flex. So having a third tight end really, adds to the value of the team. I would guess that this team probably be in the outside looking in, but if the right things happen, it does have a shot to get to that 6th seed. Then when Watson comes back, it can really make noise. Steelers Nation picked in the 11th spot, and this team looks ready to move to the playoffs to me. I mean, it kind of has a nice cheat code quarterback room with Hurts, Fields, and Goff leading the way. So a lot of running quarterbacks. So these guys are all the cheat code where, maybe they don't throw for lots of yards, but they're going to run in the touchdowns and do it themselves and get yards up and get 50 yards a game average on the ground. And that's an extra 5 points. And so, if you kind of put that in perspective, and it's 125 yards passing by equivalent. So, really, really a strong quarterback room. And then the undervalued Goff. Najee, playoff Lenny, Mike Davis, and Gainwell lead the running back room. A little bit light, but, Najee, Lenny, they do what they do, and you could get where you need to go as well with those other guys just spelling relief. Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks, Juju, Lockett, Pickens, AJ Green, a lot of veterans there, but guys that could lead their teams in targets in some cases there. And so, if you get them on the right weeks and you start the right guys, you probably start all of them, there's a good chance that you can be there in the end. Goddard, Gesicki, Hurst, three tight ends. It means in most weeks, one of those will start in the flex. And so that'll make, with 3-point PPR, that'll make a strong scoring team. So excited to see what Steelers Nation can do this year out of that 11th spot, and real excited for her and what she's put together here in this team. Brad's going to break down Team 12.
Yep. And Mala Holmes had pick 12 in this league. She definitely went with a win now team, going with Russell Wilson and Tua as her main 2 QBs, but she's got Tannehill behind them, plus Flacco. So I feel like she has a little bit of room to move with her QBs. Her running back, she went with Derrick Henry, CH, Chase Edmonds, Melvin Gordon, Darrell Henderson. All guys that'll have value and can give you that push when you need it. Her receiver, she went with Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, Elijah Moore, Jarvis Landry on the bench. Definitely some older, some younger guys. Like, she's definitely planning on playing for the future or this year, honestly. And with her tight ends of Freiermuth and Komet, she could definitely go either way. But I think her team is definitely in a position to make a run at it this year for sure.
And that is Clownheads 5. Feels good because it's the last one that we've done for the year as the group of us 3 of our preview show. We're excited for what's going to happen in the regular season and even the prediction show upcoming Wednesday morning. So I ask you to join us, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. For Justin, Brad, and Ed, so long for now.